All right, thank you all for coming tonight. Let's just go ahead and get started. I want to welcome Charles Woolard to the stage for the Honorable Boys and Girls Club Man of the Year Award. So we've invited some of your closest friends to come up here and just tell stories and give testament to ways that you have impacted their lives. And so without further ado, let's welcome Connor to the stage.
Good to see you, Charles. So when I was like 13 years old, my freshman year in high school, I was having a really rough year. Charles was the only kid I knew, so one day I was getting bullied by this one bigger kid. I was getting shoved in a locker. It was a really rough time for me. And he actually came over and pushed the kid away and started beating him up for me. Never since then, he's been my best friend. So thank you, Charles. It's been a great friendship.
Interesting testimony. Our next friend of yours is, as from what I understand, he's a pretty close friend. You've known him for quite a while. So let's welcome Ryan to the stage.
Okay, so just to give an idea of how Charles is, what kind of person he is. So it was his senior year. He was just graduated. I was this little sophomore kid, and he was cool enough to let me hang around. So we took a bunch of guys up into the mountains and we went camping. All right. This one night, we just hear this little low growl, and none of us knew what it was. We started to slowly peek out. We're walking around the campsite to figure out what it was. All of a sudden, we see this huge round spot and figure out it's a bear. And the rest of us, we just freeze. We're locked in the eyes with this bear. We don't know what to do. We're all shaking. And all of a sudden, we realize Charles is gone. Well, what happened was, Charles ran to his dad's car, which we were borrowing for the weekend to get up there. And his dad is a huge Bob Dylan fan. So he starts blasting it. He starts blasting it as loud as he can. And all of a sudden you hear, the bear gets so confused that he gets back down on his hind legs, shakes his head as if this thing is just hurting his ears, and runs back off into the woods. And, we can almost say we survived the bear, and it was all thanks to you and Bob Dylan.
And for our last testimony, I want to welcome Joe Shepard to the stage.
Charles. The story I wanted to tell was actually how me and you first met. Me and Charles have been friends for 8 years now. Real close friends, and the way we actually met was in a coffee shop. He bought me a cup of coffee and sat and had a 2-hour long conversation with me about Jesus. But I never told you why I was there. The entire time we've been friends, I've never shared this story. And I feel like Man of the Year Award is the perfect time to tell it. At that stage of my life, I had a pretty miserable life. The highlight of my time in that period in my life was that coffee shop. I was there every day, got the same cup of coffee every time. When I woke up every morning, that's what I had to look forward to, was that cup of coffee. That was it. And that day that I bumped into you, and the day you bought me that cup of coffee, I was planning on killing myself after that day. I was having my one last cup, my one last indulgence before I ended it all, because I didn't see a point. I didn't see a point in continuing on. Sorry. I had no sense of value for my own life. But by you buying me that one cup of coffee, which I know was $4.34 because I got it so often, you sat and had a conversation with me for an hour and a half, sharing with me about how valuable I was to the creator of the universe. That made me feel like I had a life that was worth continuing to live. With a $5 cup of coffee, Charles, you saved my life. I've never realized the power, or how much it probably took for you to come up and talk to me, or you standing in line behind me, how minuscule it may have seemed to you to pay for a $4.34 cup of coffee, but it meant the world to me. And thank you. You saved my life. Not only with me physically being here to see you win this award, but you've showed me how I can save my eternal life with a $4.34 cup of coffee. So thank you.
Testimony, Joe. So it is with great honor that I get to present this award to you.
You never know how much one simple act of joy can affect another person's life.